already. Hello and welcome to season 2, episode 7 of Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, the DiDi Skky, DiDi Skky. Clap for me, y'all. I am so excited to have you all with us tonight for another amazing episode. But before I get started, you know what I always do. I love to do a roll call. I like to know who's in with me. So definitely shout me out. Levi Q is in the building. What's up? What's up, friends? All right. The Omega's in the house. Who else is here? We have Model Mentor on location. Hey, I don't see your real name or who you are, even an alias, but I'm glad that you're here with us tonight. My girl, Rachel, is in the building. Always my supporter. Love to see you. Thank you so much. Of course, yours truly, April. Hey, April, I'm so upset that I missed you at the Janet Jackson concert, but I'm sure you got your party on. I'm going to talk about that tonight as well. Shouts out to you. And Shayna, hello. Listen, we have a very, very important topic to discuss tonight. And so I need you to have your teenagers, your elderly parents, or whomever you may know that needs to hear this information about cyber predators and sex trafficking. This is a serious matter, okay? And so we're going to have a very, very candid, very hard discussion tonight on those very things. And so we want you to call your teenagers in, make them come in and listen to this conversation, make them have a seat. And you're, as I mentioned, you're elderly, because our elderly parents, if we're taking care of elderly loved ones, they are being, sought after as well in terms of cyber predators. People are calling. I can tell you stories about that. My mom gets calls all the time from these, predators that are out there. And so we are going to have that conversation tonight. But most importantly, I need you all to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because my producer, Tia says, listen, she is not going to have us streaming live on Facebook as well as on Instagram. We're going to move everybody over to that YouTube channel. So we got to listen to what she says. We're going to move you over. So go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. So again, so glad to have you all with us tonight. Finally, I am in a place that you all recognize. I'm back with a familiar background because I have been in the streets. I've been traveling quite a bit, but I'm out here getting that paper. Trying to make some money. But I have been out socializing and doing some very, very fun things. And so I decided to create a new segment, because of course your girl is always out there in the streets. So she's outside. Let's check out this particular segment. That's right. Your girl is outside in them streets. So listen, last week I had the opportunity to go out with my cousin Gino. That's my cousin. He's my client. But he wanted to go and surprise his very good friend, actor and comedian London Brown. He was doing a stand-up show at the Uptown Comedy Corner here in Atlanta. And so we went out and we surprised London. He was so excited to see us. Let me give you a little bit of background about London Brown. So London actually starred in HBO's Ballers, and Gino was the makeup department head for Ballers. And so that's how they connected and became very dear friends. Now, if you're trying to figure out who London Brown is, he also plays right now on what's the show? Power. That's right. He plays in Power, Raising Kanan, as Marvin, the Uncle Marvin that eats all the time. And so he's doing really well, but I'm sure many of you did not know that he's also a comedian. That's where he got his start, is stand-up comedy. And so listen, when I tell you gut-wrenching, funny as hell, he is so good. So if he comes to your city, make sure you check him out. But I'm going to toss to a video. Let me preference the video first before you see it. what he did at the end, he does impersonations and he's amazing at it. He does these great impersonations. He did Obama and he did Denzel Washington. Well, what he did was he had one of the other comedians to come up on stage, and then they posed a question to the audience. They said, give us 2 characters and 1 topic. So the audience said Will Smith and Jay-Z. And the topic was the Oscar slap. And Tia is going to play that video. Y'all have to see it. It's so good. It's so good.
It was crazy how the whole thing went down. Like, it came out of nowhere. Like, you don't care.
Look, the thing is, right, you said something about Jada, you know, and I just...
It was crazy how the whole thing went down. Like, it came out of nowhere. Like, you don't care.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It was so good. So as I mentioned, be sure to go and check out London Brown if he comes to a city near you. And then next up, and as I mentioned earlier to my girl April, she hit me up after seeing all of my reels on my social media pages to say, you were, missed you. Yes, I went to see Janet Jackson live and it was so good. My very first time seeing her live. Nelly opened the show. So amazing. I really was entertained. He set the place on fire. Of course, it was hot in there. Murphy Lee came out. So he really got the audience up hype, and we were, just excited for, of course, Miss Jackson, If You Nasty. And then Janet came out. She looked amazing. Her vocals were good. She did pace herself now, and she told us she was 58. So this was the funny part. Janet said, I'm 58. And I was like, really? Janet 58? And then I remember how I was. I was like, baby, time waits for no one. Oh my goodness, let me tell you. But yes, if you have not seen Janet Jackson's new concert, I'm sure if she has not hit your city, you want to go. If she has already hit your city, definitely go and check her out in a neighboring city so you don't miss her, because it was absolutely amazing. Great wardrobe changes, set changes. Her dancers were amazing, of course. So very good time. Shouts out for Bay for those floor tickets, baby. I had a wonderful time. So, woo, yes. Good news tonight. Tonight's show is brought to you by Kings of the South Motorcycle Club. It's the South Florida chapter. And they are giving back to the community. And so the great thing about the Kings of the South Florida chapter is that they're presenting help for the third parent teachers. Now, the third parent, for those of you who don't know, the third parent teacher, that's the teacher because they're like the third parent. They spend a lot of time with your kids. They're providing items that teachers need and seeking your help to make donations. If you would like to make a donation, all you have to do is cash out your donation to # KOTSMC and make your donation there. Supplies will be distributed on August 8th at Liquid Paradise. The address is 3910 Northwest 19th Street, and that is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Lauderhill, right around the corner from my mama's house. But don't go by there, okay? Don't go by my mama's house. Don't try to go see her because she don't let everybody in. She don't let everybody in. All right, time for the conversation. So if you have not done so already, I need you to call in your teenager. I need you to call in your elderly parent or loved one so that they can hear and engage in this very important conversation. Tonight, we are talking about cyber predators and sex trafficking. This is a serious topic. And because it's serious, and you know with me, I am a journalist by trade. I am educated. I'm not a TikTok reporter, darling. I have many years at this. And so what I do is I bring on experts, people in their fields, who can provide us with detailed, thorough, and accurate information. And this is a topic that we definitely want to be very well informed about. So I have asked my guests tonight to not hold back. I want them to be very candid about the information that they have so that they share with you and so that you all know the seriousness about this topic. My first guest tonight is a cybersecurity expert. He's provided his expertise on CNN, Fox, BET, ABC, and many, many more. Please welcome to the show, Gregory Evans. Hey, Greg, how are you?
I'm doing great. I love this show.
Oh,
Before
well,
we're on there, I've been following you for 19 years, you know. So this is great. First time I've ever interviewed with you too. 19 years. This is my first interview with you. Yes.
Yeah, 19 years. Yeah. But you actually hired me as a reporter, as a content creator for your show as well, for what you were doing and some of the projects that you worked on. So we've known each other for quite some time. And one of the things that I loved about you and what you do is that you provide information. You've always been this cybersecurity expert, even when we weren't familiar with what that meant. And so you taught me, and I want you to come on now and share your expertise with our guests. Give us a little bit of your background and how you are an expert at cybersecurity so that they know who they're listening to tonight.
Yeah, because, you know, you hear that word cybersecurity all the time. I don't even call myself a cybersecurity expert a lot because everybody uses that term. I was hacking computers starting in Baltimore, changing grades in the 7th grade. Then I started doing it for a drug dealer. Then I started for a lawyer, and the lawyer turned around and had me hacking the law firms. We were doing $1 million a week in the 90s. So yeah, it was really big until it was shut down. But that's where I come from. That was the background, and there was no word called cyber back then. So I was on that side. So I've seen it all, and a lot of living in Los Angeles after I graduated from high school, and I was around a lot of entertainers, and I did a lot of stuff like when Death Row was first starting out with Gregory, everybody else, and Snoop, and a lot of big name actors that you see, and I did all their stuff. I made sure their computers were getting hacked into over the years, because over the years, people used to hack in, or you have your maids go into, you know, your home. People would pay the maid to go into homes and clean these homes, and then they would put spyware on the computers of these celebrities. And they were stealing these celebrities' pictures and everything else, and things were getting leaked out there. So I was the guy that everybody would call. So yeah, I've been doing this. I do it all over the world. So not just here in the United States, China, like Hong Kong, Dubai, Ghana, Cameroon, you name it.
Absolutely. So let's hop on into the conversation. What is a cyber predator?
A cyber predator is like a lot of these predators that you see, and your next guest is going to talk about this a lot. They used to go out there and physically steal your kids. They go out there and manipulate your kids. Now they've gotten really sophisticated, and they try to seduce your kids through the internet, okay, through different social media websites. And they'll come in, and they won't look like an old man or older lady. They will come in looking like a whole profile, looking like, you know, somebody their age. And then they start grooming them and talking to them, getting that information, like what school do you live in, what city do you stay on or stay in, and what side of town, where parents go to work, when can you talk, all of that, when can we meet up? They do all of that and groom them, so that way they can suck them in, bring them in. So, and that's how it works. Get their kids to send pictures. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm agreeing with you on that, because they are, as the title says, they are hidden in plain sight. And so you mentioned something that was key. These predators they will manipulate their profiles to make our teenagers believe that they are their age, and it's some old man in Montana missing 3 teeth or whatever. Like, I mean, these are real and true predators. And so they are, I know a lot of you have seen Catfish on MTV, right? That's a great example of Catfish as well, right, Gregory?
That is correct. It's the exact same thing. But you know, sometimes you can be groomed by, and this is very important. I have to say this. You hear a lot about in the media about social media companies, Facebook or Instagram and Snapchat. They have to take more responsibility protecting our kids. No, the parent needs to start being a parent and not your kid's friend, because that's where it starts. I'll never forget when I used to come home from school and I'll find my mom or my dad in my bedroom, which I thought was mine, going through, you know, looking through my drawers and reading my love letters and all this. I was like, hold up, what are you doing in my room? No, this is my room. There's nothing in this house that doesn't belong to me. Well, when your kids, who you paid for that $1,000 iPhone for, you paid for the monthly bill on that phone, you paid for the internet in that house, that is your phone. So you need to start parenting them, going through their stuff and looking at what's going on, because you're going to be able to recognize stuff that the parent can understand, but the kid may not understand. So you can see when they're actually happening. But parents don't do that because they want to friend first. And that's where a lot of this issue comes in. It's not on the social media side, it's on the parent side. So I have to say that. That's very important. So all the parents out there, you have to know what's going on. And if they don't give you the code to your phone, you take that phone and turn that bad boy off. That's what you do.
Right. And it's important. It's not an invasion. Like you said, it's protection. It's adding a layer of protection to our young kids, our teenagers, and ensuring that you are not being groomed or sought after. And so what are some of the things that, as a parent, now you mentioned knowing the code, looking at their phones, what are some of the key things and factors that the parents need to look for on their social media page? Should they also see and look who's responding to them? If they're on TikTok, is it important for them to know, you know, especially for young girls, what type of pictures and how they're portraying themselves? Talk about that, Gregory.
I want to say this one thing. We're having a really bad thunderstorm here, and I'm seeing the power around here maybe out. So I'm just letting you know it's just really bad over here on my side of Atlanta. Parents have to teach their kids and talk to them, especially. Say that one more time.
No, I was saying if you happen to go out, if your power goes out or if something happens where you're disconnected, if you can log back in, just log back in and we'll bring you back. Okay, go ahead.
It sounds good. No problem. What's very important is you have to talk to your kids about the technology. You have to let the girls know at the young age that every boy that says he loves you at that age is not going to be the one you're going to end up marrying. So when that little boy says, hey, you know, you like me, I like you, I love you, even in high school, and he's like, send me a picture. Once your daughter sends a picture or your son sends a picture to somebody, he's not in control of that picture anymore. And it's for women, because when that girl sends that picture,
sounds like he's having some technical difficulties. Yes, there is a storm coming through the Georgia area. So it sounds as if, he may be having some technical difficulties. And so some of the things that Gregory is saying is so very key. It's so important that as parents, we ensure that our kids and that your kids are safe and that you are checking their phones, you're checking to see who's responding to them on social media. You are being very engaged with their lives, because these predators out there, they're experts. They're experts at what they do. While we're waiting for Greg to try to come back in, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next guest, Sandra Mayo. I believe that she has better power in service. I don't think it's raining in her area, but I'm going to go ahead and have her come on, and then we'll cue Greg back up. And after I'm done with Sandra, we'll go back to Greg and finish answering his asking his questions. So don't move, you guys. I need you to stick and stay, because he's also going to speak on cyber predators against elderly and cyber predators amongst people who use that dating app online. You may not be dating the person you think you're dating. All of those things are so important. So my next guest is a mental health expert. She is the founder of Sandra's Giving Heart, which is a nonprofit organization formed to provide support and services for victims of sex trafficking. Please welcome to the show, Sandra Mayo. Hello, Sandra. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me, DiDi.
Absolutely. So glad that you are here with me tonight. We are speaking on a very serious subject matter. When I had you on last year, and I brought you in, as I mentioned, I brought you in because Gregory was having some bad service. We're having bad weather in Atlanta. And after I'm done with you, I'll go back to him. So that we can finish having the conversation on cyber predators. But really quickly, I had you on the show last season as a influencer and a cigar enthusiast. And what we talked about, something that was very important, was this foundation that you were forming and your overwhelming experience in mental health awareness and caring for victims and families of sex trafficking.
Yes. Yes.
So we're here in a different light. And I know that you're gonna give it to us straight, no chaser. Tell us, let's go ahead and hop into this conversation. What is sex trafficking?
So sex trafficking, if you really want to kind of dumb it down, is when an individual is actually kidnapped. And what is kidnapping? Someone that is taken, outside of their will. The sex part comes in when it's specifically geared to the idea of individuals performing a sex act for other people, and these entities are getting paid for it. It's a huge, huge, huge deal, and it's a horrible experience. So it's someone being kidnapped and used and taken advantage of sexually.
Mm-hmm. Sex trafficking is a multi-million dollar industry. Is it
Absolutely.
not?
It is. And unfortunately, it's taking a very, 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 very bad, wreaking havoc on our brown and Black teenage girls. So yes, and there are several reasons for this that we're going to get into. So
right. And why? So I'm just going to kind of speak from my experience. As you mentioned, being kidnapped. Growing when I was growing up, when you can share your experience. When I was growing up, that was something. Predators, they're taking kids. You didn't really hear about adult or teenage girls being kidnapped and then sold for sexual purposes in that way. That's something in my mind, when we started to think about that, was something that you see in other countries or something.
Yes.
There's a movie with Liam Neeson called Taken. And his daughter was taken while she was in Europe or something, and it was for to be sex trafficked. And so you don't comprehend it. We don't think about it being in the United States. Tell us how close to home it really is, Sandra.
Well, you're absolutely right. Back in the day, Gregory was talking about the responsibility of parents. And we're talking about a two-parent household where there's guidance, there's more structure back in the day. So that kidnapping, sex trafficking was kind of a misnomer or unheard of because we were all close to home. We had mom and dad. Now it is here at our doorsteps. It's here, and it's been here actually. And the insurgence of it within the last 20 years has brought a tiny bit of awareness, not nearly as much of awareness as it should be. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring awareness to what is really happening to our teenage and adolescent women. So it's here. It is here, and it's here to stay unless we do something about it. I deal with individuals that are victims every single day. And again, being in behavioral health for about 23 years, for the last 10 years, it has grown exponentially from taking care of the actual victims and providing counseling for the actual family members, mothers and fathers, the siblings of the individuals. That is a very big area as well. So it is here, and it is here to stay unless we do something about it. So I'm very, very, very passionate because I touch it and I see it every single day. So the results of it or the victims of it. So my heart really goes out to the ones that I have not been able to touch. So hopefully, again, the platform that you're allowing me to have would bring a lot of awareness. And then what Gregory is going to add to it is going to prevent some of these kidnappings to happen. So thank you again for bringing awareness.
Absolutely. Awareness is key. It's important that we provide education. We provide these resources. We know that knowledge is power, but it's also protection as well. And so there is a movie streaming on Lifetime. I actually saw it the other night, Abducted at an HBCU. It features power actress Notori Naughton. And so that movie really, really hits home. I am a alumni of Alabama State University, as you know, and Virginia State. And so we don't even think about these predators being on the campuses of these schools. So Gregory was speaking on how predators hide in plain sight on digital platforms. Tell us, Sandra, how these predators are taking our kids, our young girls, into sex trafficking on college campuses, at the gas stations. Tell us about that.
So first of all, when you think about individuals going to college, teen girls going to college, they're getting away from mom and dad. So they're happy, they're free, they can do whatever they want to. And there's a vulnerability that's there. You know what I mean? Especially if these young girls are coming from broken homes. So they're looking for that father figure. They're looking for that. So when there's no guardrails in place, these individuals, as Gregory said, they are experts within what they do. And somehow when they are speaking to these individuals, they know how to attract them because they know what to say. Me being in mental health, I understand how the mind works. So being manipulative on the other end, it's how they can ask specific questions they're probing, asking specific questions on, what are you doing tonight? That's so pretty. Now, asking questions and giving these compliments go hand in hand. So they're asking questions to get answers on what questions they need to ask next. And they're also giving these compliments to these individuals that have low self-esteem or individuals that they know are looking for something. They're looking for something. So on college campuses, they circle the campuses like vultures. Okay. And they're all dressed up. And again, where there's no guardrails, it's easy to say, this candy, come and get here's the cars, here's the jewelry, all the shiny little things that
Right.
draws these young girls to them. So it's kind of like a fantasy. They give them their fantasy, they suck them in, and what happens next? Whew, that's the traumatic part. So they think they had trauma. They did have trauma prior to leaving home. So a lot of them, and again, they're trying to escape, and this is the outlet that they take, and it's very, very sad.
Right. And like you said, these predators are, they're attractive. It's someone literally in this movie, with Notori Naughton, the predator is hanging out on the campus. He's in the area where they have the food trucks, and then he's, and he's grooming. Let's get more into what that grooming aspect looks like, so that our young girls know, and they have a bell and a trigger, a ring, or something in their head that lets them say, let me hold on, back up. You don't attend this school. Why are you on the campus like this all the time, where no one has a reference to who you are? And, especially in this movie, there are a couple of things that really stuck out to me. One was that other students knew that he was a guy who was on this campus, who didn't attend the campus, right? But when he would connect with some certain girls, those girls, as you mentioned, Sandra, which is so key, have some dysfunctionality at home. They were dealing with some things at home, but then the girls would disappear, and then months later, the guy would show back up and just do the same thing, and nobody was saying anything. Nobody did it.
And the question that you ask is, what are some things that you need to watch out for, to tell your young girls about them? Gifts. When they start giving you gifts, that's a problem. Now, if you go back to the conversation when you're having with these predators online, they know they're asking these questions to know what the next step is. Okay. Right. On the campus, they look at you. They see you need shoes. They're going to show up with some shoes. They see you don't have a bag. They're going to show up with a bag. You may say, oh my God, I am so hungry, the day before. And guess what shows up the next day? Food. Right. So they are studying. So if someone fulfills all your fantasies, or somehow knows, oh my God, you know exactly what I was thinking. How did you know what I needed? Oh my God. So what that does is fills a void that they have. This person is going to take care of me. This person really likes me. Oh my God, we are kindred because we think just alike. And little do they know, it's a facade. They have studied you, and they know what to do. They shine the shiny thing in front of you, and you are just blinded by the light.
Absolutely. April says that's the sad thing, is no one is doing anything. And this information is for all of us, right? It's for us to have our ears and eyes open. If you've traveled through the Atlanta airport, I can say for certain, between Atlanta airport, Miami, Fort Lauderdale airport, you see signs everywhere. If you see someone that may be sex trafficked or under some type of duress, see something, say something. See something, say something. Just don't let it go, unaddressed. And so it's going to take a village for us to really, get a hold of this and let them know we're not going to allow these things to happen to our kids. You wrote an op-ed piece. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to add one more thing too. They have become very sophisticated. So instead of working, single-handedly working, they have partners. So one to distract your friends, and then one to distract you. So they work in conjunction. So that's another way that they're snatching. So if you're with your parent, with their friends, they watch. I'm telling you, it's not one person now. It's maybe 2 or 3 people
and
that are
women. Some of them have women involved with them too.
Yes. And again, some of these, so when they're taken, a lot of these young girls fall in love with their predators. Okay. So these are the type of accomplices. If you remember Epstein, he had that woman to go out and recruit for him. So they have accomplices that are blinded, okay? And they're so empty on the inside and filled with whatever the predator has told them because they have lost complete hope. When we get them in our facilities, we have to rehabilitate their thinking because they become subservient. You know what I mean? So they are used to, I mean, their whole character have been changed. When they're reunited with their parents, the parents barely know them and they barely know their parents because their minds have been transformed. There's one particular client that I have who is a survivor. When she came back to her mom, she did not remember her mother's name, and she was only gone for 4 years.
She was gone for 4 years. How old was she when she was taken?
14.
Where was she taken from?
She was taken from, she went to the store. She went to the store, okay, to meet someone, a boy she met online. And she was gone for 4 years. And as I said earlier, and I don't want to get off topic, I had talked to you earlier about we need to talk about the havoc and the trauma that the parents go through when their child is taken, that feeling of guilt, and we have a parent again in our facility that just lost her mind thinking about what happened to her young girl, her young daughter, night after night after night. And this particular parent, the child was gone for about 6 years. And unfortunately, they did not find her alive. So that torment, and as I told you before, she has no edges on her head, on her hair, because she's pulled it all out. Again, just thinking about your child being savagely raped night after night after night by all of these different men and women. And then again, I don't want to, you told me to give it to them.
And that's what I want you to do. Tell them.
Men, women, as well as these individuals using instruments on these young girls, okay? Where when you get them back, or when they come back, this particular young girl that I have in my facility, we had to rush her into emergency surgery because her insides were so torn up. So she would never have kids, you know what I mean? So the trauma that she went through, the parents, the trauma the mother went through, the trauma the father goes through, the trauma a brother goes through, an older brother goes through because their younger sibling, female sibling was taken. All these type of emotions that we deal with, and these situations, these emotions, this trauma, this has to be brought to the forefront so people can really understand what we're dealing with. We're dealing with victims, and we're dealing with victims in a sub level. Okay?
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Listen, if you have any questions, please, this conversation is for you. We want you to be engaged and informed. Please ask Sandra if you have any questions in regards to that. Now, we've spoken about college campuses. You just mentioned about your client who was taken from a store, from an online predator as well. I've actually heard in the news here, specifically in Atlanta, where they are taking young girls where, you go to the gas station and you go to, pump your gas or do something at a gas station, and you go in the store and come back. They have some type of solution or something that they put on. They want you to touch some type of paper or something, and they put some type of solution on it that will knock you out and render you helpless. And they just sit and wait for you, and then they're snatching you that way as well. I actually I believe it may have been Moni Love, the rapper and radio personality. She talked about her daughter almost being a victim that way as well. So they're out in the gas stations. If you're going to clubs, they're out there.
The nail shops. They're lurking around the nail shops. These young girls that are getting these nails done. Think about that. They're lurking. I've read cases where several have been snatched coming out of nail shops. Okay.
Wow.
So the parent drops them off. I'll be back to gate you. They finish early. They go outside and wait, and they never see them again.
Oh,
So be careful when you drop your teenage girls off at these nail salons by themselves. Make sure they're going with multiple people. I mean, not one, I mean, not two, maybe 3 or 4, because it's rough out here, folks.
right.
If you've seen and you've walked the mile that I've seen, you will be panicked, because I am. And
Right,
that's
right.
why it behooved me to start this foundation, because the trauma. And, I always speak about generational wealth, but I also speak about generational curses too. We can talk about what factors cause these young ladies to contribute to them getting snatched. Now, they don't cause it. They don't do it, but disparities, financial disparities, you know what I mean? Drug addictions, mental illness, all of these play factors in them, being snatched by these predators. So I like to peel the onion back and deal with these situations, deal with the family situations, talk about what's going on with you, talk to your daughters, talk to your sons, because these young boys are being snatched as well, but talk to them. Don't ignore if they do anything different. And one of the common factors that they do is they start to withdraw. They stop eating, they lose weight. Like if something is going on with them, we're
Right.
talking about teachers at schools, they're predators as well. And we've seen all of these type of stories, but we're talking about predators as a whole, as well as specifically, yes, we're talking about sex trafficking as well. So this is where it starts. It starts at home.
Right.
It starts at home. So if we can get a grip on these parents, then I'm not saying that, it's the parents' fault. By no means am I saying the parents' fault, because individuals that are snatched are also from good households as well. So, that guilt that plays a part. You're just talking about, just families in general, and bringing them together and talking and communicating more.
Absolutely. Karen says that she actually saw a story of a father that was with his 6-year-old daughter in the mall, and someone tried to abduct the child while the father had the child's hand. So they're bold and brazen right now. Like there's no kind of, they're doing it on all levels. They're on all levels. One of the things, Sandra, is that you wrote an op-ed piece for the Charlotte Post regarding sex trafficking. And it was a story about a young lady on an HBCU campus, and then this movie came out. So I called you like, what are the odds?
Yeah. This was a true story. One of the young lady that I wrote about. The reason why I wrote about this young lady and this specific situation was because mental illness played a part. The vulnerability played a part, and it's what I deal with on a daily basis with, the individuals that I deal with. She made it out. She was a victim. However, because she wouldn't tell on her predator, she is now listed as a predator. So a victim is now listed as a predator because she would not tell on her predator. Okay. Because she was afraid. So, I don't want to get on my soapbox about, the mental health system and how it is failing us, and also the criminal justice system, how it is failing us as well. She's a victim. And to have her listed as a predator, she can't get a job. She can't go back to school. Her life is over because she was vulnerable.
Right.
So that was a story that I had to tell, because again, trauma is with the parents, trauma is with the siblings, and also trauma is with the individual, of course. But once you get out, once you start your therapy, you think that, okay, I'm on my pathway to a better life. Then you get stopped again because you can't get a job. There is a permanent glass ceiling and a permanent reminder of what you went through every time you fill out an application and they say no because they pull your criminal record.
There
So
is so much. Yeah, it is a domino effect.
absolutely.
Domino effect with this. And even getting out, you're not really mentally out if they make it. They do make it home. It's a lot of work that's required. What are some of those, before you leave, if you can tell us just those 3 steps that we can just try to do in terms of keeping our young folks safe, or even ourselves safe out here in this world? Well, what can we do?
1, communicate and watch your surroundings. Watch your surroundings and watch your surroundings. Educate yourself on what these individuals look like, okay, and what they don't look like, okay. And then the third, again, which is the first, you have to watch your surroundings. Anything that looks suspicious, like the chemical concoction that they put on your windshield, anything that looks familiar. When you're coming out, again, this is still within watching your surroundings. The back passenger door is where the second accomplice usually jumps in, distracts you, and then the predator goes on the driver's side. So that is what they're doing now. So when you're coming out, getting in your car, make sure, again, when I say watch your surroundings, I really mean doing a 360. And continue to do a 360 until you get into your car and lock your doors. That's the same thing when you're walking up to your house and going and getting the keys. Sometimes we forget. Pulling out the keys, make sure you pull the keys out. I know you said 3 things, but it's just so much. Pull out your keys before you get out your car. Watch your surroundings again. Watch when you're driving. Make sure you're not being followed. Those type of things. So
yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, I will it's important for me that I continue to provide this information. So I would definitely have you back on. But tell them, if anyone wants to find out more information about Sandra's Giving Heart, how can they find you?
You can go to my website. It's www.sandrasgivingheart.com. So it's rolling across the screen there. There's I have an icon there where you can fill out information. Give me your information. You can ask questions, and I will immediately follow up with you. It's not a third person. I will do that because people are reaching out to me because they want help. And if you want help, I can definitely help you, point you in the right direction. Get therapy for your loved ones. Get therapy for your teen girls. I'm here to help. So Sandra's Giving Heart, www.sandrasgivingheart.com. I'm here to help you and your young daughters.
Thank you so much. And if you are interested in giving back to Sandra's Giving Heart, they accept donations. It's also on the website. Sandra, thank you so much. Thank you for your insight, your education, and having purpose with this. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to bring Greg back on. I believe he's here, and we're going to finish that conversation. Welcome back, Gregory.
Oh, that was hot. Sandra and I need to go on tour together like Jay-Z and Beyonce. We need to tour together and just make this happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're going to make that happen. Do you remember the conversation that we were having?
Yeah, but I want to pick up on something you guys were talking about. This is very important. This is why it's very important that kids have to have, especially girls, have to have their father in their life, okay? Because when that smooth talking guy, and every man has been there, we don't have to be predators, but you see that one girl, you say, I can get your hair done. Let me take you shopping. Let me take you to Dubai. She's going to say, you ain't doing nothing that my daddy had already did for me. Because when she was little, her daddy was to get her nails done. Daddy was doing her hair. Daddy was taking her shopping. Daddy was the first man that says, I love you. You see what I'm saying? So when a man comes over and he looks like he has so much, that's where it goes wrong, because if you've never had a man in your life to tell you these things, a family member, your dad, that means what? The dad and the mom don't have to still be together, but the dad has to be in that child's life. It's like Chris Rock said, his only job was keep his daughter off the pole. That's so doggone true. You have to go in there and you have to be for your daughter. Next, I wanted to say, and Sandra touched on this for a second as well, that your teachers, I was going to bring this subject up if we got disconnected, but you have to watch those teachers because those teachers are grooming and they're getting information from their students all the time. A teacher should not be on your kid's social media page. They should not be following them on social media at all. Now, the other thing is, parents, your kids have 2 social media accounts. They got that one Instagram that you and the church members and grandma see of him posting pictures of you guys at the family reunion, puppy and everything else. And then he has that other social media account that's under his nickname that you didn't even know he had a nickname that the kids at school gave him. So that's the one where they doing all the dirt and doing everything else. Totally different. They ain't following you, you ain't following them, you didn't even know about it. So you have to understand, it's hard to parent these days when the internet first came out. I'm talking about before social media, and now it's even harder with social media. Because even before the internet, every time you could be the best parent in the world, but when that child leaves the house, now he has a problem because he has all that influence of all his friends. And the friends are telling him to do. Now, he could just stay in the house and all his influence is coming from the internet. So you have to watch this. So here's the deal, a couple things. One, you have to monitor what your kids are doing. You can't let them know you're monitoring. You need to put spyware on their cell phones and you have to put it on their computers. That way you can see what websites they're going to. You can see the people that they're talking to. I don't care if your kid is 16 or 17 years old. Remember this, you're responsible for your child as long as he's living in your household, is under 18 years old and still going to school, period. If they go out and break a window, your neighbor's window playing basketball or whatever, and goes through the window, until you see you, and you have to pay for that. So the same way you're responsible for them for that aspect, you should be responsible for them on everything. So you have to make sure you are monitoring. You're not spying. You're just making sure. It's not you can trust your kid, but it's the other predators that's out there, those other influencers. That's the ones that are coming around. You should never hear anything about your kid in the streets. You should already know what type of kid and what's going on in your child's life. Even if they didn't even tell you. But having conversations is very important. Like Sandra was saying, you have to communicate with your child. The other thing is, these teachers are very sneaky because I've worked on a case like this before where I had to track down who the bad guy was, and the bad guy ended up being the teacher at a school. Yes, it was a male teacher, and you hear about this even here in Atlanta. Everything happens in Atlanta, and but where a teacher was grooming the coach of the school and the girls' teams and all of this, but he's on all their social media pages, and then he got up with these boys on the site, and he was asking them different questions, and I don't want to go too much into it because it made the news, and I don't want to put the girl out there like that, but the young girl, but yeah, you just have to watch. That's why it's important for every parent to be involved in the school. When they teach conference and all of that, you have to go around. The other thing is, you have to tell your kids, when people ask, especially people who don't know you, what does your mom and dad do? See, if somebody knows that your dad or your mom is in law enforcement, FBI, local police, even if they're not coming for you, okay? Because there's going to be too much heat. They want to go after that single mom, even if she's a nurse and she's working 12-hour shifts, right? And you're at home by yourself or taking care of the little ones, right? Those are the ones they want to go after. So you have to teach them that. Even if they're not predators, even the boys that just want to come around. If you remember the movie, I forgot, 50 Cent was in it as well, and the little boy came over and knocked on the door to take his daughter out to the prom. And he says, let me talk to you. He brings them to the garage, and he has all the uncles and everybody and the friends. That's what you do. So, and if the dad is not around, no man, I'm going to tell you this right now, ladies, no man is going to disrespect your daughter in any type of way if he knows that your daughter has backup. He got that crazy dad, that uncle who just got home, if you know what I mean, just got home. Or, you know, they don't do that because they know that if you make my daughter cry, I'm coming after you. So, period. There has to be a respect level there. And if he's not going to respect, because he won't respect the mom, he will respect the crazy dad, okay, or the crazy uncles and the brothers and all of that. So that's very important. But going back to the online version of it, and a lot of parents, because I know we're winding down soon, if you want more information about this, DiDi and I have put together a course. It's an online course. It's called Child Safety for Kids and Teens. It's an online course. You can see it at the bottom. And we also have one, it's called Parent Security. And that's everything that we talked about as what you should do as parents, okay, to monitor what your kids are doing and look all the different signs. That's a course by itself. And then I have one also called Seniors, okay? It's called Cybersecurity for Seniors and how to protect these seniors from all these different scams. Well, if you look at the bottom of the screen there, it's at National Cybersecurity Training Academy. And you use that coupon, you get all those courses. I think it's for like $25. And it's good for over a year, okay, or 2 years. So everything updated is great. So get that coupon, DiDi 2024. Very important because we can go on this for 3 hours and still haven't covered everything.
Right. So much information.
Like this.
Yeah, let me before you go, Gregory, and you guys definitely check out that website and consider, you know, if nothing else, please consider signing up for that course so that you can become efficient and effective and safe when it comes to cyber predators out there. Before you go, Gregory, you mentioned seniors. I know for a fact that my mom gets calls all the time from these strange people that'll say, you know, hey, mom, hey, like they'll literally change their voices. And I know you have a system called Spoof 'em where you could change your voice up and make it sound as if you were someone else. And so they will call my mom all the time and say, hey, mom, or hey, grandma, I'm in jail. Can you send some money? Or, you know, just all of these random things. And so how can we protect our seniors before you go?
Well, first of all, we only have 3 minutes and there's so many different things we need to say about protecting the seniors. That's why that course is already, and that course is free, by the way, on the website of seniors, right? But so many different predators out there, but you have to check up on your elderly parents. Like my mom calls me all the time, asking me tech support questions. And I'm like, I'm not IT, I'm a hacker, Dad. I mean, Mom. So, but it's very important that you can check and you have to have these discussions. Don't give your information out. Don't give your credit card over the phone. And you get that pop-up on your screen that says you have a virus, call this number, and they want you call that number, and then you give them your credit card, and then they want to log into your computer remotely to, you know, fix your computer. Now what you've done is they installed spyware onto the computer and they stole all your information, your email address and your passwords to your bank account, all of that. And let me just say this, it's very important. Everybody has to have several different email addresses. You can't have the same one. You have one for social media, you have another one for your banking, you have another one another one for just personal stuff, okay? You can't have the same one, and you darn sure cannot have the same password. That's very important, okay? The reason why is if you have one email address and one password and somebody gets into it, it's a wrap. Your whole life is over. It's over. So they'll be into everything. Before you know it, you wake up in the morning, your whole life is just gone. The money's gone, your credit's messed up, everything's gone. And it's going to be hard because they're in another country. Or it could be the person right next door that you don't even know. And if you're just getting out of a relationship, I'm going to tell you this. Ladies, if you got that one boyfriend or husband and he's so controlling, you need to make sure he don't never use your computer for nothing. I have spyware on my computer, so if anybody ever uses my computer, I can see what they were trying to do on my computer because of spyware, and so I can see what's going on my computer. All right, I'm not worried about spying on myself, but if somebody else uses my computer, I want to know about it because that crazy boyfriend is the one who's going to put spyware on your computer. And when you break up with him, he's turning your camera on in the middle of the night. He's the one reading your emails. He's the one doing all that. And the same thing with cell phones. And we can talk about, we're on a different subject, but when you take your phone to the mall and fix your screen on your phone because it's cracked, and it's like, okay, come back in an hour, and they ask you for your password to your phone, right? So they can make sure it works. Don't you do that. That's a scam. Don't you give them your doggone password because they don't need your password to fix your phone at all. So what they do is as soon as you get the passwords, they go directly to your videos. They go directly to your messages and your pictures, and they see what's on there, and they download all that information or add new information on there. And it's the same thing when you take your computer to the Geek Squad, or I could use them because they got busted in the news before. So where somebody was repairing the computer, put spyware on that bad boy, and one night the lady took the computer home and she was getting undressed and she just noticed the light came on her computer. So and she was like, hold up, somebody's looking at me, and she found out she had spyware from the Geek Squad. So there we go. I know that was at your very end. So
much information, and I hope that you all have taken notes, and because between Sandra and Gregory, they have filled us up with the information that we need to protect ourselves and our loved ones out here in these dangerous cyber streets and the regular streets, the sex trafficking streets, everything that's going on. But I'm definitely going to have Gregory and Sandra back so that they can have these more in-depth conversations. Gregory's about to go even deeper. So we definitely have to have him back. But be sure to you check out the website. Cybersecurity, be sure to check that website out and put in my code. It's cybersecuritytrainingacademy.com. Put in my code DiDi2024. Gregory, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And like I said, I'm definitely going to have you back. And if they need to look for you, they can find you where at that cyber website as well. So they can join those classes, right?
They can join the classes. The classes are on demand. You can reach out to me or GregoryDEvans.com. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What an amazing show tonight. I know you all were filled with the information, with the knowledge. Listen, you're not spying on your kids. You're just loving them. You're just protecting them. You're just ensuring that they are safe. We have to do that with our loved ones. We have to be nosy out here in these streets and let's take care of each other. It takes a village. So as they say in the airport, if you see something, say something. Don't just, go by and let something that is not right happen right before you. And also with our elderly and our elderly parents and loved ones, let's be sure that we are monitoring their phone calls. They're getting these strange phone calls from people. They're not online and trying to respond to folks and having issues with their computers, because that stuff is real. Everything that Gregory and Sandra shared tonight is real. It's very, very real. And so I am glad that I was able to bring this type of conversation to you, because it's not just about entertaining, it's about educating and engaging. So this platform is for you. Shouts out to Eric in the building. I saw that you were here with us tonight. Karen and Brittany, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Couldn't do it without you. And before I go, I have to tell you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. And if you can't watch us, you can listen. We're on all of your favorite streaming platforms. Be sure to check us out there: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, everything that you listen to, we are there. So if you don't have a chance to watch us, you can hear it. And you definitely want to share this. You want to share this information. So feel free to share the link, share the information, and be sure to check out that cybersecurity website and put in my code DiDi 2024 so that we can get that great discount and you can help save yourselves and your family and friends, the ones that you love the most. You know what I say before I go. Love you all so much. Go for your goals, reach for the stars because the sky has no limit. I'm your girl, the DiDi Skky. Have a good night and I'll see you soon.